Everyone has a bizarre ability or two. Some possess a great level of creativity, while others can look perfect without even an effort. The protagonist also has an ability unique to him. At his workplace, Kitase is asked to attend a drinking party by his colleagues, but he turns them down as he has important stuff to attend to. Kitase Kazuhiro prioritizes heading home rather than career advancements, and as he gets home, the first thing he does is change his clothes. It has become a habit of his, and he starts explaining why he does that. As he goes to sleep, he awakens in another world, a fantasy world. Kitase reveals that ever since he was young, he had been dreaming about this world. Defeating different kinds of monsters and using shields and swords is all he has known in this world. However, one thing he doesn't like about this world is that he is woken up violently when killed by monsters. After seeing his reflection in the river, Kitase is amazed that he has barely aged in this world, despite growing quite a bit in his own world. Soon, an elf approaches him, and he is excited to finally see her today. He has known Mary for a long time, and he reveals that she has lived for more than hundreds of years. Typical elf stuff. Since she has moved to the Magician Guild, Kitase is surprised by her visit. Suddenly, a bird freaks her out, and Kitase assures her that the bird, Nuzzle, is harmless, and he is feeding it the breadcrumbs he has brought from his own world. She is amazed that his food is so delicious, but it's actually that the food of this world is so bland that even something of bad quality would taste delicious here. She agrees with the criticism as she is always followed by bad quality food no matter where she goes. Mary wants to know where he bought his food from, but he doesn't reveal anything. Even Kitase doesn't understand how he is able to bring food from his own world, but as long as he gets to have this ability, he won't complain. He wants Mary to accompany him to the nearby ruins, and after she shows a little hesitation, he offers her some bento, resulting in immediate yes. The ruins belong to a civilization long ago, which is believed to be suddenly wiped out by a disease of that time. However, Mary doesn't feel like a civilization, which was the birthplace of magic, just fell due to a disease, but there's hardly any evidence of anything. She informs him that the ruins contain 7 mysteries, but even if they don't solve them, Kitase would still be happy as long as he gets to be around Mary. They are amazed by their technology and wonder whether it can be replicated. Mary wants to eat his food, and he offers her plenty of them. On their way back, they encounter a monster, though it is Kitase's acquaintance who tells him to be careful, as a dragon has laid eggs. Mary is curious to see eggs, and the two decide to have a look. They use the hiding hood robe to make themselves invisible, and after taking a close look at the dragon, Mary realizes that it is a magic dragon. She excitedly tells him that even a drop of the dragon's drool would fetch them thousands of money, and Kitase is surprised that an elf is so materialistic. However, their voice is too loud, awakening the dragon, and he kills them with a breath of fire. Just as he wakes up, he is astonished to find Mary in his bed. Mary is surprised to find Kitase so old, and the other wants to know how she is feeling since they were hit by the dragon's breath. Just as she sees down below, she is embarrassed to find herself naked. Kitase assures her that he didn't even lay a finger on her, and she instructs him to go out and buy clothes for her. As this is the first time he is buying clothes for a girl, he doesn't know what he needs to pick, so he just buys whatever that comes to his mind. She shouldn't be in their world, and he wonders whether some sort of phenomena triggered this. As he is being suspected by the employees, he regrets not bringing Mary with him, but she didn't have clothes to begin with. After he gets back, Mary asks about the location she has found herself in, and he now realizes that what he thought of was a mere dream turned out to be a whole different world. However, he soon realizes that she wasn't feeling upset or anything. Rather, she was amazed that he is living in such a luxurious building. Kitase understands her situation well since he experienced the sort of feeling before when he first visited her world. It's the cherry blossom season, and he decides to take her outside to show her around the city. She is so excited that she throws the single piece of clothing covering her body and instantly faces embarrassment. While she wears clothes, he contemplates the event once more, and realizes that the reason she got transported to this world was because he was hugging her as they were scorched by the dragon. He is amazed to see her looking so pretty in the new clothes and feels that it was worth all the money he spent on it. Outside, she is perplexed by the modern technology, and Kitase worries that she might be uncomfortable since everything is new for her. Mary assures him that she is feeling fine as he is there for her, and the two head off. Not everyone can get used to the car travel instantly, so they decide to walk. After practicing for a bit, Kitase is glad that she feels satisfied, and the two head off in the car. He had to explain everything to her since she wouldn't budge without understanding the concept of the car completely. She is impressed that Japan is so peaceful with no monsters around, and the other assures her that one can lead a tranquil life, though there are also influences of foreign cultures. He takes her to a hotel to treat her to some food, and the waiter is fascinated by her cuteness. As she doesn't understand human language, Kitase explains it to her in the elven tongue. She is surprised that no one is cautious of her, and he tells her that since no monsters live around, people don't usually care about one's appearance. He feels that she is just a bit too wary, but it's just him being too careful. Mary wants to know why she was brought to this world, and she doesn't understand why he would look so much older than before. He doesn't have the exact explanation either, and he informs her that she probably was sent to this world because she was killed by the dragon. She is astonished that she is dead, but he assures her that she should get back to her world once she sleeps. The two plan on going back tonight, and the last question is about his age. His only guess is that he probably ages only when he is asleep in the other world, and that's perhaps the only explanation for it. The waiter comes back with their order, and Mary compliments the food in elf language, quickly explained by Kitase. He wants her to try out the raw fish, and even though she is initially disgusted by the texture, she is quickly drawn into it by flavor. She is excited to try out sushi someday, and the two head off to see the cherry blossoms. Mary can feel the spirits welcoming her, and seeing her amazement at seeing the cherry blossoms, Kitase welcomes her to Japan. After seeing a smile on her face, he is unsure whether she sees the cherry blossoms the same way as him, but after she holds his arm, he realizes that when it comes to a beautiful spectacle such as this, humans and elves are the same. As they return home, Mary is happy that she got to experience so many things, and he instructs her to take a bath since it was a bit hot outside. He also gives her some assorted bath salts, so she can enjoy the bath with different fragrances. After checking them out, she goes with one and recalls the moment when she asked what she would do in case it was impossible to return to her world. The other assured her that she can find some place for her in this world, and if it comes to it, they can live together. She doesn't mind the idea of living together and gets back to see him cooking a delicious meal. She is surprised that he is such a good cook, and after having a taste, she professes how tasty it is. Since the other world doesn't have many ingredients, he always brought some bentos over there with him, and she understands perfectly how everything would be bland if someone were to eat tasty bentos every day. She wants him to find more ways to bring items over to the other world, but he tells her that he can't take anything there except for food. She wants him to recall whether someone ever asked him for a favor, as she believed that someone else is controlling his dreams, and there is also a reason for her coming over to this world. Kitase has never thought about something like that, as he was always enjoying his adventures, and he doesn't even remember why he started it in the first place. They have to worry about bigger problems right now, as they will have to wake up in the dragon's den in case they were transferred to the magical world in their dream. He instructs her to forget about the dragon egg and focus on the escape. Even though she is aware of the danger, she is simply curious about the dragon, as there is a rumor that it once turned into a human to enter the capital, because it was curious to find more about the humans. The two decide to head back to the magical world, and as they get to bed, Kitase wants them to sleep in the same posture as they were killed in. Even though she is embarrassed, she decides to accept his request, and the two enjoy their nightly warmth. The two return to the dream world, and just as the dragon is about to attack them, Kitase communicates with it in the dragon language. They spent so much time strategizing their survival and concluded that if the dragon returned from the town without doing anything, it must have tasted beer because the capital is famous for it. He presents a bottle of beer to it, and the other is amazed that a human can understand him so well. Kitase reveals that they only wanted to see her eggs, and the dragon allows them to have a look. The dragon advises them to not be too curious about everything, as it could lead to dangerous situations, and reveals that it had heard that people living in a dream existed, though it is the first time he came into contact with one of them. He is curious about the other thing Kitase is hiding, and he quickly assures her that he wasn't planning on hiding anything, and reveals that it was just some katsudon. The dragon transforms into her human form, a pretty draconian. She demands that they offer her katsudon, and since Kitase isn't planning on giving it to her, she offers her scales, which they can sell for a high price. Since Mary was interested in it, the two make a deal, and he treats her to katsudon and beer. She wants to be treated to more bento and offers them a rock soaking in her blood. After he explains it in elf language to Mary, she wants him to offer more bento since it is too valuable. On their way back from the deepest floor, Kitase notices that she looks worried, and after asking her, the other reveals that it will be too complicated to sell the rock, as a lot more people will find out about the existence of the dragon. For the time being, she instructs Kitase to hold it until things calm down. As they will have to find some place to sleep, Kitase asks whether she is heading back to her town, but she informs him that he will be heading to the human world with him so she can learn Japanese and experience his world. Mary is excited about heading to the peaks, but after realizing that it is 2 countries away, she is demotivated now. Fortunately, Kitase has a skill that could take them easily there, and he deploys the skill that allows him to fast travel to any location once per day. Kitase informs her that normally it doesn't work with 2 people, but since she's light, the 2 got there easily. She tells him to put her down and asks whether they will reach the destination soon. It usually takes about 20 minutes and instructs her to stay close to him. Kitase suddenly remembers someone being stuck in this underground world for over a year, freaking her out. Since they will be training, he wants to see her status screen, and he instructs him to never tell anyone about it. Since she is at a magic academy, all the students harass her for her low level, as they can't beat her in ability. She is interested in seeing his status screen, as well as she has never seen a higher level screen, and the 2 display their screens to each other. Kitase recommends various skills and tells her to reset some. After seeing his screen, she is surprised by his illusionary swordsman class, and he gives a very vague explanation. She is greatly astonished by useless skills he is carrying, and she can see that he isn't taking this world seriously. As the Golden Week is approaching in Japan, she is excited about their next adventure. It would have been great for Mary to bring money to Japan from this world, as she would like to study, and the other is surprised by her materialistic approach. She spots a flower in his hand, and he tells her that he collects various flowers on his journey to take them to monuments in his country. As a materialist, she can only think of utilizing this as a work to make money, but the other doesn't want to work in his dreams. As they arrive at the Uja Peaks, Kitase tells her how the peaks used to thrive for adventurers to come and collect stones, but lately, the stones are not harvestable, even though any adventurer can feel the resting power of the stones beneath the ruins. Any magician would be excited to hear this bar for Mary, who is complaining about the scorching heat. Seeing her reaction, he is worried whether she will be able to get used to Japan's summer. As they arrive at the ruins, she is amazed by the culture that once thrived. Just as they are about to advance to the training grounds, Kitase feels someone following them, but decides to continue on his way. After they arrive at the oasis, he stops her from going too far away, as monsters typically attack people, and just as the monster arrives, they start their hunt. Mary demonstrates her spirit magic by summoning a flame spirit, and Kitase is amazed by how cute it looks, though it proves costly to him, as he is burnt off by his flame breath. Mary is confused at his strategy, because even if she were to steal his target, she won't receive any experience. On the other hand, Kitase defeats a monster and copies his movements with a skill and then lures a horde so Mary can kill them all efficiently. He instructs her to aim at them with her spirit, and he uses a skill to jump high and get away from them. After turning the monsters into cinders, Mary is surprised that she received all the experience, and the other gets back to work. Meanwhile, some hunters are spectating them, and they are astonished that he is so strong. Upon taking a closer look at his skill, the hunter is shocked that he is carrying Magic Dragon's stone and decides to take it away from him. As they aren't as powerful as him, they are planning on using Mue as a hostage to get the stone. After Mary gains levels in so little time, she is visibly upset because she only gained a single level in a couple of years. However, she feels refreshed now that she is together with Kisate and starts lecturing him needlessly before they eat. Just while they are enjoying the delicious meal, Kisate detects bloodlust, and Mue is forced to use the magic stone to summon a ferocious sand monster. Kitase has already used the long-range transport magic for the day and can't use the movement 1 as he is carrying too much weight. There is only one way for them to get out of the situation like this, and he instantly hugs Mary before getting killed by the monster. They wake up in their bed, and Mary feels that the little kid was frightened, almost as if someone were forcing him. As this is a day off for Kitase, the two decide to go outside later. Outside, Mary is disappointed that the government is regulating the water flow, which has probably caused the water spirits to be upset. Suddenly, she spots a cat and instantly wants to pet it. She's completely drawn into his beauty, and once the cat leaves, she wants to come here again to play with him. They don't have much developed facilities around the city, so Kitase takes her to a small library in their town, and she is astounded at the technology. He wants to take her to the children's section, and she is amazed at the literacy rate of their world compared to hers, where only 30% of children get to have education, and only mages and nobles can read. She is instantly drawn into a picture book for children, and Kitase decides to buy it, even though she doesn't want to admit that it is to her liking. As the book is about a cat, the two decide to get it, and Kitase informs her that the two can read it together in case she has difficulty understanding difficult characters. Just as they head to the reception desk to borrow the book, Kitase is surprised to see a familiar figure at the desk. Kitase and Ichijo greet each other, and the curious Mary can't hold back the question about her. After asking Kitase, he reveals that she is a librarian here, and he introduces the two of them to each other. Kitase tells Mary that it's a good opportunity for her to practice Japanese, and the other adds an honorific to her name in the response. Mary is taken aback as she feels she has made a mistake, but Kitase assures her that it is just out of respect. Since she feels cuter and younger than her, Mary decides to add honorifics to her name as well, causing the others to fluster in embarrassment. Kitase tells Ichijo that it is troubling to hear her addressing him like that unconsciously, and the other is shocked and instantly questions whether they have slept together. After he makes everything clear, he tells her that he doesn't want their relationship to end, and the other is glad that he is committed to being himself. Ichijo is surprised to find that they live in the same apartment complex, and the three decide to plan a dinner together. After coming over to this world, Mary has made her first friend. At the house, Mary doesn't understand how a disc works, and Kitase demonstrates to her by playing the video for her. He goes to make pancakes for her while she watches the anime, and after getting back, he explains that all the frames are hand-drawn. To give her the feeling of a movie, he darkens the room and the two enjoy the anime. She is amazed at how easily comprehensible and amazing movies are and wants to learn Japanese even more now. She is incredibly close to him, prompting him to get her off of his body. To keep her occupied with something, he plays music for her. Kitase was preparing a meal for them when his phone suddenly rings, and he realizes it was an announcement for the earthquake. On the other hand, Mary is freaked out and comes out of the bath naked to cling to him. He assures her that it was just an earthquake and she has nothing to worry about, and tells her to wear her clothes. She is embarrassed that she came out without thinking about the consequences, and he is instructed to cover his eyes while she leaves. He is glad that things didn't get worse, and the two apologize to each other for the awkward situation. Afterward, he treats her to curry, and she is instantly drowning in the different tasty spices. Mary is surprised that he is so relaxed, even though they have to face the monster once they head back to sleep, and he assures her that he has a way. He can use the skill today, and the only moments that restrict that skill are the presence of an aberrant entity, such as the magic dragon. Since this monster doesn't feel that strong, he is confident that he can get the two of them out of the dangerous situation. He is more worried about the half-monster child, as it was being forced by someone else to summon the monster. Before they sleep, Kitase reads out the picture book for her and is impressed at how she has managed to live her life in Japan so far. She wants to learn Japanese just because it interests her, even though it is practically useless in her world. The two are transferred to the other world, and Mary is dissatisfied as they didn't finish reading the picture book. They form a party against the enemies, and Kitase instructs her to hide for the time being and come to his help when he signals her. She summons her sun spirit to hide herself in the invisibility cloak, and Kitase heads off to deal with the sand monster and rescue the kid. The two make a strategy to defeat the sand dragon, which will also enable Kitase to find the kid. After finding the kid's location, Kitase heads off to rescue him while the summoned spirits attack the giant monster. He confronts Miwe and asks whether he is alone or with the others. After he tells him that he is alone, Kitase wants the two of them to escape before things get worse, but he can't trust humans. After all, it was humans who captured him in the first place. He recalls his grandpa's story of being caught up in a trap set by humans, although in the end, it was a human child who rescued him. Miwe cries out in desperation for his help, and they are soon approached by the hunters who want Kitase's rock. In return, he will crush the binding stone that is holding Miwe as their slave. Kitase isn't a kid to fall for their trap and instantly attacks him, resulting in a fight. Mary can hear the clashes of swords and realizes that the fight has already broken out. She instructs her powerful spirit to take on the monster, but doesn't think that she can go on much longer. On the other hand, Kitase uses his mobility to dodge their attacks, and uses his illusionary magic to disappear and send the enemy to become the monster's meal. He instructs Miwe to hide away, as Kitase isn't really good at protecting others. After observing the enemy's position, Kitase is assured that he can take on them and heads off to deal with them. Even after beating them easily, he notices the leader observing the monster with two of his subordinates. The leader suddenly shouts at his subordinates to attack the elf, and Kitase is shocked that he has found her location with his skills. He quickly decides to deal with the two hunters, but they use a debuff to set them on flames and deal as much damage to Kitase as possible. The other is impressed that Kitase managed to hold his own against them, but doesn't think he can go on any longer as they have once again captured Miwe. The leader has already found out that Kitase can't get away with too much weight in his hands and commands him to surrender. Kitase happily throws his sword away, and before the other could realize his true motive, he uses his skill to get away along with Miwe. His skill also has a condition that the user must know his destination, but since he jumped hurriedly, he doesn't land quite safely, although the spirits help him with the soft sand. After they disappear, the sand monster suddenly manifests before them. Kitase is ready to give up his life, but quickly recalls the promise he made to Mary of reading the book together on Sunday. Surprisingly, the monster reaches them with its tentacles, and he realizes that it wants the magic stone. Miwe recognizes it as the monster that fended off the Neko people was none other than the one standing before him, and he returns his stone back to him. The monster leaves without a trace, and a huge labyrinth is uncovered on the ground. Mary soon reaches their location and wants to explore the labyrinth, but Kitase stops them as humans, and elves aren't meant to step inside. They see the others approaching them and quickly transport away. Afterward, Kitase reports to the investigation team, and they are astonished with such a discovery. They get ready to explore the labyrinth and are curious about Mary, who is taking care of Mue, though he assures him that she is just a cat lover. Kitase and Mary enjoy their time in the desert country for now, and he takes her to a strange building surrounded by water. After explaining everything, Mary doesn't want to take part in exploring the labyrinth as she feels she isn't strong enough. Hearing this, Kitase also steps back from heading inside because he doesn't want to have a party with someone that isn't Mary. She immediately agrees to head inside the labyrinth, following his confession. Elsewhere, the magic dragon realizes that humans have discovered the labyrinth, but she doesn't care about it. The eggs are about to hatch, and she welcomes her newborns into the world. Meanwhile, the Magic Guild receives her report, and Sven, a powerful magician, is shocked that the labyrinth has been discovered. Sven can read the future, especially one that involves a labyrinth. In the morning, Kitase wakes up to find himself still not used to a lady sleeping beside him. Do you think they will conquer the labyrinth? What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. For now, leave us a like and subscribe to our channel for more content.